Let's give a big round of applause for Amanda Kickney.
All right. Okay, everybody back there, how's the alcohol? All right, I got some folks' attention. I do like the smaller crowds like this. It's more like a conversation. It's not so much like an actual audience. But I'm having fun with a lot of people. I mess with a lot of people constantly, and I need to kind of knock it off just a little bit, not too much. Like, say the grocery store clerks. I always come into these stores, and they ask me stupid questions, and I feel like I have to give them a stupid response. You know, like I walk in, and they say, "Is this all for you?" And I said, no, you can just leave all of my stuff right here on this doggy little treadmill here, and I'm going to go look at the new Muscle and Fitness magazines, and I'll be right back. Or my favorite one, I went to Walgreens just the other day, and I had a couple of 2 liters, like a Coke and a Mountain Dew. The clerk looks right at 2 liters, then right at me, and said, "Did you find everything okay?" And I thought, no, I didn't find everything okay. I could have sworn that the Mountain Dew was going to be right next to the Hallmark cards, and could have sworn that everything else would have been back there next to the deodorants and the shampoos, but nope. And then there's a flea market. I love going to flea markets. I don't know if any of you guys like getting the bargains. I do. It's incredible. There's a place over in Jeff called Vendor's Village. It's a horrible flea market. Don't go. I like going to Heather's Mall. It's actually in Clarksville. That's where I'm from. But I was in there, and they had these gigantic bags of charcoal, and we were wanting to do some grill outs and everything. So I said, yeah, I'll go get some charcoal. Well, I went and paid, and I went up to the front, and the guy goes, "All right, is it going to be debit or credit?" And I said, "Credit." And so he asked to see my ID. And I said, "All right, here, but it's fake." He got a little giggle out of it, but he went ahead and printed the receipt. He goes, "All right, we'll sign here." And I said, "Oh, good, I get to forge a signature." And I'll switch hands, because I'm right-handed, I guess, actually. But yeah, he got a little giggle out of it. I'm carrying this big thing of charcoal. I look like Santa delivering to the naughty kids on Christmas Eve. And right outside there's another place called Ben's Bargains, and it's also kind of like another thrift store sort of thing. And I should have probably dropped the charcoal off when I left outside, but I didn't. And so I went on inside, and come to find out they actually sell the same bags of charcoal there in the back. And so I didn't find anything in the store, and I'm walking out, I'm still carrying the bag. And the security up front looks at me and he says, "Are you going to pay for that?" And I was kind of confused because I didn't realize that. And I said, "I already did next door." And he doesn't believe me, so they go ahead and call the cops. Cops show up and everything. They said, "What's the situation here?" I said, "Well, I've got these bags of charcoal, and I don't even know why I'm paying charcoal in the first place. It's the only substance on the face of this earth that I can't set on fire. I've taken chemistry classes forever. I can give you the chemical equation to set water on fire before I can get charcoal ever caught on fire. You use propane, it's so much better." Think of Hank Hill going, "I feel propane." I'll always remember that every time I say that. And so anyways, the cops looks at me and he goes, "Well, how can we figure out that you had actually purchased this?" I didn't have the receipt. And I told him, I said, "Well, I'm a pretty memorable guy. People don't seem to forget me all the time." So I said, "Go next door." And there's a young boy there at the counter. I said, "Just ask him if he remembers me." Sure enough, the cops go over there and they talk to him. They said, "A guy come in here just a few minutes ago and get a whole bunch of bags of charcoal." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I remember him. It was the guy with the stolen credit card and the fake ID. So I gotta quit doing those kind of things. And you couldn't even tell them, like, "Hey, let's check the cameras to see I brought it in," because the cameras don't work. I don't know what it is with cameras anymore. We need to fix stuff. It's 2015. Like, I know this is legitimately on the news. It was in Cincinnati, Ohio. A guy was standing at a bank counter and he was robbing the place, and he was standing there for 15 minutes and they could not get a clear picture to give the cops. Yet you can go to Holiday World and ride a roller coaster and get a 1,000 megapixel purified looking photo with the best resolution you could ever have, going 100 miles an hour on a roller coaster. That doesn't make any sense because we're developing things out of control. It's something with the US. Like, we decided to put a man on the moon before we put wheels on luggage. It really doesn't make any sense. It's like how Gillette Fusion keeps putting razors on razor blades and nobody's fixing Microsoft Word. You know, we could put it someplace else. There's a lot of lazy inventions kind of like that. I know one that we have. People keep trying to change, like, the alarm clocks. The alarm clock worked just fine. It beeps, you top it, and you go on to work, or whatever you're waking up for, maybe school or something. People are inventing these new things like a mat that you program, and you actually have to get out of bed and stand on it in order to turn it on. It's $99. Or you could place your alarm clock on the opposite side of the room, get up and do the exact same thing. Another I've seen, this is just the laziest invention ever, it's an alarm clock that actually projects the time onto the wall or on the ceiling, because you all know how hard it is to just go. But there's tons more I could name, probably. The toasters are shooting out and all this. Main thing I wanted to go with you guys, I brought this list. Anybody back there filling out job applications? No, everyone's employed. I'm so proud. It's Indiana, I wasn't sure. But I made a little list of just your standard questions that you got on an application. I always decided that you could get known a little more in your applications if they get a little humor out of it. And they ask you some of the ridiculous questions on applications, and I decided to come up with just little few answers here and there that you can change on your application just to stand out. And I'll give you the last one is one I actually did. And normally these applications start out pretty generic. It asks for your name, although it does offer a prefix, which always puts sir. If you're a knight, that just sounds so much better on an application. You don't have to prove anything. Then it does ask for an emergency contact. Well, 911 seems kind of like an obvious sort of number to put on there. And then, have you ever worked here before? They ask yes, no, or maybe. Who's checking maybe on that? Sir, I don't know if I've worked here before. It's been, I'm 22, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I was 4, I don't remember. The total hours that you can work for a week. Well, that's an open-ended question, but it's more like a math problem. You know, you see there's 24 hours in a day, there's 7 days in a week, that's 168 total hours you can work in a week. It should be the same answer for everybody. And then they ask, what position are you seeking? Well, I'm seeking one that's available. Same difference. Right next to that, they're going to ask pay. What kind of salary or pay are you looking for? I put U.S. I don't like euros. I don't like yen or anything starting with a y. Let's see what's the next one on here. Have you ever applied to this company before? Well, you can put 10,000s of times, so they think, oh, well, this person's really trying to get the job. Yeah, I should do them. May we contact your current employer? Hell no. In any portion that I'm actually currently at a location and I'm trying to get another job, I don't want you contacting the manager, because any reason that I'm trying to get the job there, I am not wanting to, let you know what's going on at my current job. Who are you referred by? Well, I usually put something like the government or your pet llama. That usually throws them off quite a bit. Have you done any volunteer work? Well, I've lived with my parents for pretty much my entire life, so chores, lots of volunteer work. I'm not getting paid for that. Military experience. Well, Call of Duty, that's easy. I play a ton of video games. I'm qualified for this job already. And then they get some of the more serious questions. They really want to get to know you. What are your biggest strengths? Well, it's kind of an open-ended question. They don't specify what kind of strengths. So something I'd like to put is maybe Ghost or Steel-type Pokemon. I play a lot of those games ever since they came out with Red and Blue and all that. I don't know what they're at now. X, Y, Volcanic Ash. Oh, let's see. Oh, and what are your weaknesses? Well, this is different for every person. A few of my weaknesses were like tornadoes, boobs, poisonous snakes, spiders. Those are weaknesses. Everybody should have those, especially boobs. Provide a time that you worked collaboratively with a team. They're always looking for team players. Well, I said that I'm currently over at Red Lobster, and they had someone's birthday pretty much, and they were singing this birthday song. Everybody seems to know it's just happy birthday to you. It's on like a regular scale thing. Well, I joined right in there with them. We all sang together, and we all ended at the same time. That was a great team experience. And then, oh yes, this one's just lovely. Provide a time that you led a team, where you showed leadership. Well, I could justify that right here. A lot of these streets, when you're getting here, one-way streets and four-way stops. Well, I approached a four-way stop at the same time another car was. And I don't know if you've ever done this. You're both here at the same time. Now it becomes a debate. Who goes? Do I go? Do I squeak a little bit? Hopefully they go too. Or do I just wait a little bit and see if they go? Well, I decided to show some leadership. I wrote down the window. And the window, it's on that side. I'm not driving in a foreign car. But yeah, just opened that up and I said, come on over. Yeah, you go right ahead. And they went on ahead and I went ahead and there was no wreck. I thought that was perfect leadership. And this one's probably my favorite one of all time. I work at Dirty Dinner Playhouse, is my other job. So does Michael. It's an interesting job. The applications changed right as soon as I filled out an app. Because when you're working in a theater, especially when it's a buffet restaurant kind of theater, they want someone who is not going to be judging of any kind. You know, you're going to work around male, female, black, white. You're going to work around people that have different preferences of how they swing or how they sway. And so they want to make sure you're okay and comfortable with everybody. So on the application, I had filled out so many applications, and I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to get a job. I'm going to be fine. So on the very bottom, I was reading through the application, and it says, are you, or have you ever been a racist or sexist individual? So I put, no, but I'm a fast learner, and I'll do anything to get this job. And sure enough, within a week, they called me up and said, we would love to give you an interview. You sound like the perfect individual who we would love to work for. All right, well, I think that's about all I have for today. It's been great. For the people at the bar that weren't listening, I love you guys. You've been about the best audience we could get back there. Yeah.